Excellently acted, beautifully directed, worst ending I've ever seen.
I would still recommend people going and viewing this, but definitely not best of 1982.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable, the Justices of the Superior Court, now sitting at Boston, within and for the County of Suffolk, draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard.
Welcome to Colin Day vs. the Machine Video Edition. We have been talking about The Verdict, delving deep into the psychosis of the American system, medical malpractice and everything. Dave, what were your immediate thoughts on the movie The Verdict?
My verdict is excellently acted.
Maybe I can do something right.
Functionally, beautifully directed, worst ending I've ever seen. That's a little extra, but terribly disappointing ending. As a package, this is the first movie we've watched in a long time where I didn't check the runtime. I didn't see how much longer I was going to have to work through this. I was in it, Kyle. In the end, I was out of it. That's the brief overview. Paul Newman is fucking incredible in this movie, and if you feel like watching a wonderful performance of a broken down lawyer in 1982, you need to watch this movie.
I was hoping you were going to talk a little bit more about your package. I kind of have to agree with Dave. We're pretty aligned this week. Kind of unusual for us for the last few weeks to be so
in sync.
No Backstreet Boys. The ending does, I think, I wouldn't say completely ruin the movie, but it does leave a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth.
As we learn, the shitty ending, spoiler alert, in spite of his ineptitude, his alcoholism, his complete dissociation from his practice, he's a loser, he's a failure. He hasn't even introduced a single shred of admissible evidence. And he makes this impassioned but cynical speech
We become weak.
about just doing the right thing for once, loving the law. And the jury comes back and they're like, "We give this lady more money." What a fucking stupid thing to do.
It's a different tonal shift almost, right? Like if this was like a goofy Adam Sandler comedy, I can buy it then, fine. Whatever.
It's supposed to be stupid.
But when it's tense and realistic, to have that be your ending, I'm like, no, I don't buy this for a second. So much of this movie is so gripping. Like I really want to follow Paul Newman's character around and as he uncovers new things and trying to get to the bottom of it, and the last minute star witness who comes in and then the overturn of that, like all of that is fascinating. I love them making their grandiose speeches, but it is kind of ruined at the very end. Still very watchable. I would still recommend people going and viewing this, but not only would I not say it's one of Sidney Lumet's best, definitely not best of 1982.
This guy made 12 Angry Men, one of the greatest movies ever made.
You start off with a 5 out of 5. That's really hard to follow up.
You can see how they overlap in the sense that Sidney Lumet really knows how to bring these individual characters and these performances right in front of the camera and right before you, and it's so engrossing.
We talk a lot about the backstory, not that that should necessarily influence your opinion on a film, but there was a lot of debate on when this movie should end. The writer, David Mamut, really wanted it to be after the speech that Paul Newman gives.
We are to have faith in justice. We need only to believe in ourselves.
Cut to black, end of movie.
That would have
Producers
been
and
AFI level
the director
movie.
really wanted there to be the verdict rendered at the end. I think leaving it up to your imagination would be a much more powerful message. I also have a little bit of misgivings on the wasting of Charlotte Rampling.
I can't invest in failure, Frank, anymore.
Where she's really not given a whole lot to do. We have a great actress. It's just so obvious how underwritten her character is. She is coming as being the object of affection. Then is like this backstabbing bitch. That's it. Like those are your two things you get to do.
And then she
gets slapped right across the face. I don't think it should be understated though too, like the power of Sidney Lumet. I really do love the way he uses the camera in this. There's some long unbroken shots where he's really just setting up a camera and for 5 minutes just letting the actors go. It allows them to feel so much more real and involved, and he probably has been sleeping in this office for the past 3 days. You can smell it off of the screen. There's these uses of the soundtrack, which is this droning background music that swells up. Don't even really notice it until they drop that all away, and now you're back to silence. I'm like, oh yeah, that was really affecting me. There's these really cool effective ways that Sidney Lumet is treating this story. It's just unfortunate with the wrap up. However, I think there's something we have to do. What happened in 1982?
This week in 1982. March 2nd, decentralization in France. I mean,
okay.
I don't care.
What does that mean?
It just says the law of decentralization creates the administrative regions of France. I guess, the monarchy's over, so maybe they had more of a dictatorial system, like a overarching political regime that is now broken up into provinces. There's a bigger Wikipedia breakdown, but it's France, so we don't care. March 3rd, Elizabeth II opens the Barbican Centre in London. Also, who gives a shit? shit. What is
know
the
what that is.
Barbican Center? It's a performing arts center. We should
my gosh.
care more, but whatever. So that's it. Pretty
That's it?
simple.
No one died?
Yeah.
Wow.
No one died.
No one
Nothing
died in that
important. It's just March.
Just like the verdict, we ended on a whimper.
At least it's not stupid. It's just stuff that, hasn't really impacted anything. Yeah, let's get moving. We
Thanks, everyone.
short episode this week, thankfully. What do we do next? We're still in the Oscars. We're going to go watch
Tootsie
some
is
more
next
Oscar
to it.
movies.
Tootsie is next.
Tootsie Roll? I never liked Tootsie Rolls. Kind of gross.
Me neither. I licked them too much.
Chewy. All right, see you next week.
Bye.
Listen, the damn case doesn't start before tomorrow, and already it's over for you.
It is over.
I can't invest in failure, Frank, anymore.